Tucker Carlson is up next.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Happy Friday. According to a news report that dropped last night, Michael Cohen, that is, of course, Donald Trump's former personal attorney, is prepared to testify in the Mueller probe that the president knew about a June 2016 meeting in New York City between his son, Don Jr., and a Russian lawyer who had claimed she had dirt on the Hillary Clinton campaign. That's the claim. So for the sake of argument, let's assume that all of it is literally true. What does it mean exactly, and why should we care? If you've been watching television over the past 24 hours, you already know the answers to those questions. What this means is the end of the Trump presidency, if not of the United States itself. We should care because nothing in human history, since the harnessing of fire and the invention of the wheel, isn't as inherently momentous as this, Don Jr.'s brief meeting 2 years ago with an unknown Russian lawyer called Natalia Veselnitskaya. Who knew about this meeting? And when did they know about it? And what were they wearing when they met? It is on questions like these that the fates of nations hang. Here's a selection of both the huffing and the puffing.
That puts Donald Trump in a conspiratorial mode on this issue before the fact. That evidence on its face, if it was supported, would be an impeachable offense.
It shows that he had prior knowledge that the Russians were seeking to do this, and he didn't stop the meeting. He was giving a green light for the Russians to interfere.
Until now, we have not had a smoking gun that placed Donald Trump Sr., the president himself, in the center of the conspiracy. This is potentially huge. This is potentially something that can prove the president colluded, and that is an impeachable offense.
So there's criminal liability here for the president on the horizon.
Well, so there you have it. Internationally recognized genius Max Boot thinks this is a big deal. Is it? Well, if the president lied about it or anything else under oath, yes, it is. That would be a big deal. Perjury is always a big deal. They don't tell Bill Clinton's defenders that. Otherwise, though, it's hard to see the point of all of this hysteria. What exactly would the crime here be? It's not illegal to talk to foreigners. Nobody is claiming that any information changed hands, though even if it did, so what? As principled lefty Glenn Greenwald wrote this afternoon, quote, if getting dirt about your opponent from foreign officials is immoral or treasonous, why was it okay for DNC representatives to be trolling around Ukraine working with foreign officials to get dirt on Manafort and Trump because Ukraine favored Hillary? Huh, good question. Keep in mind, too, that the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign both paid a foreign national, his name is Christopher Steele, to gather damaging information on Donald Trump from other foreign nationals, including and especially from Russians. And unlike the Trump campaign, the Democrats actually succeeded. They produced an entire dossier based on misinformation from Russian sources. That dossier changed the course of American history. The Obama administration used it to spy on its political opponents and to begin a series of investigations that have, from the very first day, overshadowed and in some cases neutered the Trump administration. Pretty effective, just in case you're looking for actual examples of foreign collusion. Now, Democrats are claiming just the opposite, of course, accusing their opponents of doing pretty much exactly what they themselves did. At first, that may look like hypocrisy, and it is, but it's more than that. It's a political tactic. You scream as loud as you can in the hope that your opponents will be intimidated into accepting your essentially fraudulent premise. It often works, and that's exactly why they do it, but it only works when the rest of us play along with it. So let's stop playing along with it. Chris Hahn is a radio show host from New York. He's a former staffer to Senator Chuck Schumer, and he joins us tonight. So can you explain to me, Chris, why, if it's wrong to meet with Russians in the hope of getting dirt on your political opponent, it's okay to pay a foreign national to get dirt from Russians about your political opponent, which the DNC and the Hillary campaign both did?
Well, it's very different for a campaign to spend money to do opposition research in a foreign country than for a foreign government like the Russians to actually invest in disarming our election security to benefit one candidate. That's the big difference here. There's nothing wrong with trying to figure stuff out and paying for your own research. But when the Russian government's intentionally attacking this country,
But hold on, they did
That's
do
the problem.
that. I mean, the Russian government, hold on, we know this, it's not speculation, fed disinformation to Christopher Steele.
Absolutely.
Russian agents fed disinformation to Christopher Steele, who was paid by the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary campaign to get that information. So I'm not accusing anyone of a crime. I'm merely saying that's a step farther than what you're accusing Don Jr. of doing in the meeting with Veselnitskaya. But that's okay because it's, quote, very different.
Well,
so maybe speak a little slower and explain to me how that's very different, if you would.
Well, here's the difference when it comes to Don Jr. If, under your premise that what Michael Cohen is saying is true, and Donald Trump Sr. knew about the meeting, Donald Trump Jr. perjured himself to Congress, and that is a crime. Right? And it is also, we have to ask the question, if it was no big deal and nothing really came of it, why are they all lying about it? Because they've been lying about it for 2 years now.
Okay, so
and
therefore
it's something I think
a crime.
That we need to know.
Okay. Well, let me just say, I stipulated at the outset that lying under oath, this will come. This will come as a surprise to Clinton defenders, is a crime that we ought to take seriously, and I do take it seriously. And if it's shown that anyone lied under oath, I think that person should be punished for that because it's a crime.
Right.
I believe in punishing crimes, including entering the country illegally.
And under your premise, that you started the show with, Donald Trump Jr. would have lied. Right.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know anything about what he knew. I don't know if Cohen is telling the truth. I don't know why Trump would hire Cohen in the first place as his lawyer. There's a lot I don't know. But what I do know is the core accusation that somehow it's immoral to meet with the Russian source to get dirt on your opponent is exactly what the DNC and the Hillary campaign successfully did. But you're cool with that, but it's treason when Trump does it. Explain how that works.
Tucker, what the email to Don Jr. said was, this is how the Russian government hopes to aid your father. That was in the email. If that email had gone to Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, the same people in Congress who spent three years investigating who wrote the talking points would have hearing after hearing after hearing. Congress needs to do its job and have a hearing now.
Okay. But hold on, why shouldn't we have, since we know that the Russian government aided the Clinton campaign by giving false information to Christopher Steele, having been paid to gather it. Yes, we do know that. We don't know that. We don't know that, he got his information from Russia.
We don't.
Well, they testified in Congress under oath that he did. And we also know that it was disinformation.
Christopher Steele was paid to go get information.
From the Russians. Where do you think the information came from?
From wherever he could get it from.
From the Russians.
He was not given a direction by the. He was not given direction by the Clinton campaign on how to do his job.
Hold on. First of all, you don't know that, but we know for a fact that he got information from the Russian government. Hold on, but that's not a big deal because look, this is just ludicrous. It's a farce, actually, and I must say, sick of playing along with it. If there's perjury, convict for perjury, indict for perjury, and see if you can convict. But let's stop pretending that meeting with a foreigner is a crime. Let me show you a picture. You tell me if this is a crime. Here's a photograph. This is someone you know, actually. This is Chuck Schumer. He's meeting with Vladimir Putin.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
You can't see it. Well, it's your former boss, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the senior senator from New York.
But the question is,
I thought he was a loyal American.
It was 2002, and... in 2002,
I thought he was a patriotic
the Russians
person.
were
Now
not
I'm
the
finding
threat
out
they
he's
were in
disloyal.
2016.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was cool for
opening
him
of a
to meet
Lukoil station in New York. But okay.
So they're doing secret energy deals together. Look, I'm not saying that Chuck Schumer should be in prison for treason. I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm just raising the question.
First of all, you're smart enough to know what that is.
I'm smart enough to know that all of this is insane.
Look, you're smart enough to know what that is.
You guys are using rhetoric that's so destructive and crazy that it's hurting the country.
There could be, what has to happen here is Congress needs to have an investigation to know exactly what went on.
To get to the bottom of what Chuck Schumer was talking to Vladimir Putin about.
And we get to the bottom of it. And we could have the truth. If you want to have a hearing about what Chuck was talking about at the Lukoil station where they were eating donuts, go right ahead and do that. But we want to have a hearing right now about what happened in 2016 and what's happening right now to this country.
Okay, but should we have, since we know for a fact that the Hillary Clinton campaign paid a foreign national to get dirt from the Russians, shouldn't we have a hearing about that? Or is that somehow outside the scope of the hearing you proposed because it wouldn't help your party? Because this is all partisan crap, actually. Let's just be real.
They've already had numerous hearings about the Steele dossier, but they won't have any hearings about what Don Jr. said to his dad. And we both know, by the way, that Don Jr. told his dad about this meeting. We both know that.
I know no such thing.
Clear.
Really? How do you know that?
Okay, there's no way.
How do you know that?
There's no way.
Have you talked to them today?
There's just no way the nature
how
of
often,
people.
Hold on.
They're the nature
Just sort of
people.
wondering, how often do you assert things as fact that you don't really know are fact? Do you say we know something when we don't really know? Is this a common tactic that you use?
I think that it is my
you don't really know.
Opinion.
So when you
Let
say
me clarify.
we really
My
know,
strong
what you're really
opinion
saying is I have
that
no idea, but I'm guessing because
name
it
is
helps my
Don
side.
Jr. and whose whole life is owned to Don Sr. would tell Don Sr. when there was something that
so
he thought
what
he
you're
was going to
saying
get Don
is
Sr.
you
Because Don Sr.'s done a lot
have
for
some
Don
kind of
Jr.
personal
When Don
Pfizer
Jr.
warrant.
thought he could do something for Don Sr., he'd probably tell him. Look,
based on your intimate
all I'm
knowledge
saying
of Trump
is
family
Congress
dynamics.
should get to the bottom
this
of it.
is getting too crazy for me. I don't want to wreck people's
If it's true, it's evidence.
Congress, get to the bottom of it. People should stop pretending this is real because it's fake, and everyone now knows it's fake. So we're proceeding on that assumption henceforth. As you would put it, we know that. Chris, good to see you. Sorry, I'm getting too spun up. Dan Bud.